Hello everyone, this is Count Christo with things to consider before you purchase your first lightsaber. So, really there is a multitude of factors to consider before your first purchase, but today I'm going to dive into a few of them, a few that I think are really important and can save you a lot of time and possibly money. Just some helpful things to know. Um, the first thing I would want to jump into is the lightsaber companies that are available. So just in front of me I have a Crimson Dawn, an Ultra Sabers, and a Hasbro Black Series. And I mean, we're in 2020 now, and even with all this COVID stuff, this is actually a pretty booming business. There is a lot of companies popping up, some selling the same products, so be careful. Make sure you look for the best price on those. Um, but man, if I wrote down some right now, I could probably write down 30 easily. And I might actually do a video on just different lightsaber companies you guys should check out before purchasing. And there's different companies, really big ones like Ultra Sabers and Saber Forge, you know, with somewhat shady reputations, and then there's smaller ones people have probably never heard of, like Dark Wolf Sabers. There's some really good review videos on Dark Wolf Sabers right now. Darth Paradigm and Darth Raven's Blades has some pretty good reviews, and that's a company most people have never heard of. So I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to which company to buy from. It just keeps going and going. So definitely take the time to research, know what you want to buy before you're buying, and then look to those companies and see who has what you're looking for. So another thing to consider before buying your first lightsaber is, what are you buying it for? Are you buying it for dueling or collecting? Maybe just to play around with? There's really a lot of different options for all of these. If you're new into the saber community or the saber hobby, you probably have no idea that there are companies that are meant just for dueling, and there are companies that you should never duel with their sabers. I mean, they're beautiful. Why would you ever duel with them? But yeah, collecting or dueling, there's companies like Ultra Sabers. I would say Ultra Sabers is probably one of the best for dueling. They're just very sturdy, you know, solid, most of the time just a solid piece of metal. Not very easy to access for custom installs, but for dueling, man, you can whack those things all day, and you're gonna hurt yourself before you hurt that saber. That's for sure. And then for collectors, I mean, there's all kinds of companies like 89 Sabers, Vader's Vault, and they have some very good high quality hilts, and they're metal, and in some cases they're brass, you know, and just really good quality parts, but you know, it's not something you would duel with. There's just too many little features and additions and greeblies and just all kinds of little things on the side that can break off with dueling, especially heavy dueling. So that's also something you definitely want to consider is, are you going to duel with it or are you going to collect it? So another thing to consider before your first lightsaber purchase would be the price. With all these new companies popping up now, you can find lightsabers that you can duel with for easily under $100, for $70. You know, and then it's possible to spend thousands of dollars on your lightsaber depending on what you want. So that's another thing. Try to have a good idea in your mind of what you're looking for. Are you looking for a collector piece that you want to keep? Are you looking for something you really want to play around with and you want to get it dirty? The price range in this business is quite tremendous. You know, you can, like I said, you can pay $50 for a hilt with the light in it, or you can pay, if you go to Saber Forge, you can pay $300 for a hilt with the light in it, just the light. So I mean, it's really something to, that's why it's a really good idea to know what you want before you buy it. It'll help you with the price. And some of the cheaper companies, I would say Ultra Sabers, they're pretty cheap, but there's a bunch of new ones popping up, like Crimson Dawn. If you go to AliExpress, there's a bunch of cheap ones on there, and a lot of these, they actually sell the same hilts. You'll find one hilt at possibly 3 different companies. You know, they're selling that big right now, and you know, people think it's worth it. You know, these companies think it's worth it to just resell these hilts. And so yeah, just know what you want, and that'll help you a lot with the price. So another thing to consider, the 4th thing I'm going to go over to consider before buying your first lightsaber, are the opinions out there floating around about these companies. And I just want to tell you guys, opinions are opinions. You know, some are quite biased. You'll even find in the saber community there are people who actively put down one company, but it's to promote another company. So you have to really be careful. Don't ever just take one person's opinion. Don't take just my opinion. I encourage you to watch. There's lots of videos out there about what not to do, what maybe to think about before your first purchase. And I'm just trying to go over some of the things that I haven't heard too much and I think would be really helpful. And one of the biggest ones has to be the opinions. It's really easy to get caught up in this talk. People, oh, this company's bad, evil, whatever, don't buy from them. Oh, and this company's so great and great. But you can really be reading an advertisement, or you can be reading a forum from someone who works from a different company who's putting down another company to hopefully boost their own business. So definitely remember, opinion is opinion. Some are biased, some are advertisements. And don't let someone else's bad experience ruin what could possibly be a good experience for yourself. Just take your time and, you know, definitely listen to as many opinions as you can get. And it'll help you figure out what you want, which can go back to the 3rd one, help you get a best price for what you want. And so the final thing I'm going to go over today, what to consider before your first purchase, is the features. So within the past couple of years, man, people have really been stepping it up with features, what they offer, what different companies offer, what they'll do to customize and make their lightsaber as unique and awesome as possible. You can buy an empty hilt. It has no electronics in it. Maybe it has a button, but the button isn't connected to anything. And you can buy a stunt saber. And if you don't know, a stunt saber is just a light and a blade and a lightsaber. No sound, no special features, anything like that. It's meant for looking cool while you're dueling. And then you start getting into the different soundboards available. So to be honest, Ultra Sabers and Saber Forge, they have some, I guess you call them mid-tier soundboards. They're a little bit behind, but doesn't mean you can't still get some cool features from both of those companies. But I mean, when you really get into the soundboards that are out there right now, I mean, there's the Crystal Effects, the CFX board, the Nano Biscotti, the Verso, the Profi board, which I happen to be a big fan of. And the things that those soundboards are capable of, I mean, you would have never guessed it when you were a kid. Like, just some incredible stuff, especially with NeoPixel technology really being at the forefront of most lightsaber companies now. NeoPixel, if you don't know, is where the LEDs are actually in the blade versus in the hilt shining up into the blade. And you can get some cool effects with those, like localized blaster deflects, so it'll like flicker here or here like you're deflecting blasters when you're using your effect. And the lightsaber lights will slowly turn on and slowly go down like it's retracting and coming out. It's really cool stuff. I mean, the features that are available right now are crazy, but also that can make the price pretty crazy. So if you're looking for something a little more simple, maybe go with a Ultra Sabers or Saber Forge. But there's even these smaller companies like Crimson Dawn, and their lightsabers are, and the AliExpress lightsabers, their lightsabers are fully packed with features, but you know, it's a lower quality soundboard, lower quality LED and speaker, but I mean, for the price, you really can't beat it if you're just looking for the features and not the extreme quality that also comes along with some of those features. So I mean, yeah, again, the sky's the limit when it comes to features, just everything that they're offering. You also want to think about, there's companies that offer recharge ports, some for free, some at an increased purchase. The ease of access, if you're someone who wants to tinker with your lightsaber, definitely consider how easy it is to get into the lightsaber and work on those things. The recharge port, I mean, that's another great feature if you're at a convention, or if you plan on being out and about, or if you're going to use your lightsaber a lot. It's much easier to just plug in your lightsaber than to unscrew it, take out the battery pack or the chassis, take out the battery, put it in the charger. It's just one of those features that makes it makes your lightsaber just a little easier to use. And but again, that can drive up the price depending on what company you're with. So yeah, those are just 5 main things that I think anyone should consider before purchasing their first lightsaber. If you guys have ideas on what to consider before your first purchase, drop it in the comments below. I'm actually, you know, pretty interested to hear what you guys look for when buying a lightsaber. And but yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Don't forget, at 100 subscribers, sorry for the mistake in the last video, at 100 subscribers, I'm gonna be raffling off a free stunt saber. And all you gotta do is watch the videos, like them, subscribe to the channel. If you have friends interested in this stuff, tell them about it so we can get that number up and kick off this first giveaway soon. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.